Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtottara Shatash Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtottara Shatash Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Garantarash Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishiguru and Shigauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creation, Chapter 17. The Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. Text number 1. Sri Sukauvacha Ityukta Saditi Rajam Swabhartra Kasyape Nabai Anwatishtad Vratam Idam Dvadashaham Atandrita Ityukta Saditi Rajam Swabhartra Kasyape Navai Anvatishtat Vratam Idam Dvadashaham Atandrita Ityukta Saditi Rajam Swabharta Kasyape Navai Anvatishtat Vratan Idam Dvadashaham Atandrita. Please chant. Sri Sukauvacha Ityukta Saditi Rajam Swabharta Kasyape Navai Anvatista Vratam Idam Dhadasaham Natandrita. Sri Sukauvacha Tandrita. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Iti, thus, Ukta, been advised, Sa, that lady, Aditihi, Aditi, Rajam, O king, Swabharatra, by her husband, Kashyapena, Kashyapa Muni, by indeed, Anu, similarly, Atishtat, executed, Vratam idam, this Payovrata ritualistic ceremony, Dwadasha aham, for 12 days, Atandrita, without any laziness. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sukadev Goswami said, O king, after Aditi was thus advised by her husband Kasyapa Muni, she strictly followed his instructions without laziness, and in this way performed the Payovrata ritualistic ceremony. Purport. For advancement in anything, especially in a spiritual life, one must strictly follow the bona fide instruction of the teacher. Aditi did this. She strictly followed the instructions of her husband and guru, as confirmed in the Vedic instruction, Jasya deve para bhaktir jatha deve tata gurau. One should have complete faith in the guru, who helps the disciple make progress in spiritual life. As soon as the disciple thinks independently, not caring for the instruction of the spiritual master, he is a failure. Jasya aprashadam nagati kutopi. Aditi very strictly followed the instruction of her husband and spiritual master, and thus she was successful. Sri Sukha Uvacha ityukta saditi rajam swa bharatra kasyapena bai anuatishtat bratam idam dwadashahan atandrita. Sukadev Goswami say, O king, after Aditi was thus advised by her husband Kasyapa Muni, she strictly followed his instructions without laziness, and in this way performed the Payovrata ritualistic ceremony. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Satarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhya Sha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. This is a very important principle, and two points that are highlighted in this verse is, one is the importance of following the spiritual master, the importance of having the spiritual master directing our spiritual path. In fact, it's such an important principle that it's just common sense Prabhupada say for advancement in anything, that means anything, spiritual or material, one needs to follow a teacher. One have to learn. One have to learn from someone. It's a principle for being successful, advancing. There's no such a thing of just like, yeah, you know, we can sort of like cruise through life like without, with, you know, not caring for, you know, as long as I have some place to sleep and some food, that's all fine. If you want to advance, then you have to learn. And you learn by someone who knows already the subject matter. So you need a teacher. So that holds true in any aspect of life. We learn how to be, you know, we learn how to function in this world. Well, our first teachers are our parents, our family. And we get, you know, to understand how things work in this world, how to act. And then we get some education, and then we get, you know, so it's like that. We always have a teacher. So, common sense. But this is especially true in a spiritual life. That one have to fully depend on the instruction of the spiritual master, and one have to follow it. And if one fails on doing that, then there is no, the result, the desired result won't be there. So we just, in chapter 16, we just went through of the Mother Aditi approaching her husband and the spiritual master and receiving instructions. And the instruction was that in order to achieve your desires, you should please the personality of Godhead. And now here is the process. So she received instructions, she received a process. The ultimate goal of that process was to please the personality of Godhead. And she did, she followed it. She followed it to the letter. And the specific word that is used here is lazy, without any laziness. So Prabhupada was very, very pointy at using this word. How to say it, you know. He emphasized that he does not like laziness. And then he defines laziness too in his teachings. I did a little research. Prabhupada, personally in a conversation, he says, I did not like laziness. Personally, I was never lazy. Therefore, I want to see that you are always busy. Busyness, that will give me pleasure. Laziness, I don't want. So, what is this laziness that Prabhupada is talking about? Dayananda Prabhu, he asked Prabhupada, isn't laziness one of the demoniac qualities, Srila Prabhupada? And then Prabhupada responded, it is less than demonic. It is less than demonic. Yes, it's worse. Demons are a step up. So if you're a demon, you're better than a lazy person. Okay, so this is Prabhupada. It is less than demonic. Demonic qualities, they have some activity. They're doing stuff. Laziness is ignorance, darkness. And then he says, what is that? What is the symptom of being lazy? How you can tell, and this is very relevant for us, because we get at point affected by this thing. The symptom of laziness, Prabhupada say, therefore too much sleeping is very, very bad. That is another part of laziness. So Prabhupada defined that pretty much connect laziness with the sleep. And he says that this is a symptom of the mode of ignorance. Demons in general are very busy, but they're busy for sense gratification. Or at least we should not say this. This is a very hard way of, Prabhupada can speak like that. We can, we have to be more careful. Because, everybody's a demon. You demon, type of thing. Not demoniac propensities. We all affected by a demoniac propensity, So the demoniac propensity is that working for sense gratification. Very busy working for sense gratification. So that is a symptom of the mode of passion, Rajagun. Prabhupada defines that the mode of passion, when you work for sense gratification and you're always very busy, Prabhupada compares it like the mentality of a monkey. He said that the monkeys are very busy. They're constantly doing stuff. But they're doing stuff that annoys people. They're they have no constructive results. So they're moving, they never settle. The monkey is never settled. The monkey is the example of the animal, the poster boy of the animal in the mode of ignorance. Of an animal on the mode of ignorance, animal on the mode of passion. So it disturbs. It's a busyness that it have no constructive purpose. It disturbs. It creates disturbance. So he compares, when you work for sense gratification, when you're busy for sense gratification, then the result is simply create problems. You just simply create problems for others. So you have no constructive purpose, just to create problems. So the monkey, he may have certain ideas of what his schedule will be, check people around, see, a glasses, good, take the glasses, take your, whatever little bag with, groceries and things like that. So they do that. But it's not really constructive. So that's not good. Working in the moral passion is not good. Being busy. Tamagun is worse, because Tamagun is the mode of ignorance. And then Prabhupada equates Tamagun is laziness and sleep. So these two goes pretty much together. And so that is very is ignorant. It's very bad. As Prabhupada say, very, very bad. And so therefore one has to come to the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, people have the capacity to understand how to properly work. And then, in the mode of goodness, you can receive instructions of how to properly work, which is for the pleasure of Krishna. So, therefore, this instruction to avoid the mode of ignorance and to be very busy, but with a proper purpose, with a proper direction in the mode of goodness. And therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this beautiful, famous Vaishnava song, Jiv Jago, Gora Chanda Bhole, Kota Nidra Jao Maya Pischa Chira Koli. Which means that wake up, spirit soul. Jiv Jago, wake up. So, what are we waking up? What is that we're waking up? We're waking up of the mode of ignorance. We're waking up to from these two modes of nature, well, actually, all of them. We're waking up from what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say, Kota Nidra. Nidra means sleeping. We're sleeping in the lap of Maya, which is a witch. And what is Maya does is that we don't know. We are unconscious of our real self and our relationship with Krishna. So, waking up from this slumber of consciousness. So, that is what the spiritual master does. The spiritual master wakes us up. And he gave us the proper instructions. However, even after receiving that, we are susceptible, because as we come to Krishna consciousness, we're still conditioned by the modes of nature. There's still things acting and they're still affecting. So we have to be very, very careful. And two things that Prabhupada especially warns his followers. One is not to be lazy and simply sleep and eat, because the struggle of life, struggling in the material world, it drains you. Sometimes, when we're out there going at it, you don't know how stressed you are, because it becomes, the status quo. You don't know any other reality but to struggle and to be, in this constant, sort of like, struggle. That's reality for the world. So basically, it's a life of struggle, and when you get a little break of struggle, then, that's happiness. So you take a break, and you get with your friends and do a barbecue and etc., and then, you go and do a party and things like that. That little break of the struggle, that's happiness. But it's just a break from the struggle. And in reality, then, you have to, while you're doing that, you have to worry, I have to keep up with this. I have to make sure that I look like this. I have to make sure that I know the latest trend. I have to make sure that, which things, people are seeing, which people are hearing, so you have to keep up with all the stuff, the social stuff. And then people is also, even within that little break, you have all sort of kinds of pressures and to keep up. Oh, you have to show, that you're successful, you're this, and you're happy, you're we're looking good, and these things and that, all the stuff like that. And then the family, and then you get a vacation, and then you go, and then then you have to, I used to work, when I used to work, I have these friends, this couple, that they will work so hard, and they were looking these 2 weeks, because, that's another thing, at least in this country, that vacation means 2 weeks. So with 2 weeks, it's just, like, pass like this, so you have this little break. So they look for this little meager 2 weeks during the year that they go to Jamaica. And, so they go to Jamaica, and then they were telling me, and show me the pictures, and then they tell me about it. So they go to Jamaica, and they say, I asked him, so did you go around the island? No. Did you went to see the town and the markets and the people there? No. They were all the time in this hotel that was fenced. Apparently they have fence because they're scared that the locals were going to steal from them. So so you go into a vacation, but you're all paranoid, you can't go, the locals, they look a little too dark, and they look sort of weird, they have these dreads and things like that. They're white, so they maybe don't like American people. They, they're, whatever, so you're all, so you keep yourself in this little box, in this beautiful island, and then you basically have a very, little exposure. So even then, they all like freaked out. They all like, paranoid. So that's the status quo. That's the status quo. So, so people don't know better. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, and somehow or other, the one of us that are fortunate to actually being sheltered by Krishna fully, then, wow, now I can relax. I don't have to worry about food. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to worry about, there's not that huge pressure. I can take it easy. Now I can relax. That could happen, and it happens, Now you don't, and you have more time. You can sleep longer. Or maybe, you go for Mangalarti, but they take these very long naps, during the day. I have to, we find ourselves struggling with those things. Now we have, Krishna is a great boss, but Krishna is putting, a lot of responsibility on us. But, Krishna is there, but Maya is also there. So we can very easily get into this space that, I can take it easy. I don't have to work that hard. And Prabhupada cautious about this. Prabhupada says, I read you several things. Well, let me see here. Prabhupada wants us to be busy. That's one thing. He say, this is quoting his Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada says, missionary activity is not laziness or sleeping. My Guru Maharaj used to say that prana achit say hetu prachar, that, quote, I've got some dozens of disciples, and I have got a temple, and people are contributing. Now I have got good arrangement for eating and sleeping. Now I'm perfect, because I'm getting some food without any work and honor. Then I am perfect. This is not the mentality. Prana ache jara. You must engage continually for these missionary activities. The Gaudiya mission has failed in preaching work because they adopted this principle. As soon as they got a little shelter under the mat or temple, and few dozens, not few dozens, 1 dozen, then he is settled up there. Now is bhajan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Showing that he is a very great chanter. And what is your preaching? Lord Chaitanya ordered you. Priti vitti acche jatta nagaradi. Why don't you go? How you're Indian? Therefore, my Guru Maharaj condemned this policy. Matatumi kishera Vaishnava. What kind of Vaishnava are you? Pratishtara tare nirjanera ghare. And simply for cheap popularity. Oh, he is a Vaishnava. He is chanting. All right. Pratishtara tare nirjanera ghare tava hari. Nirjanera ghare. No moderation. Because if there is no preaching, there is no moderation. You can sit down and show people, I've now become a very liberated soul, and chant and meditate. That means sleeping. This sort of business is condemned by my Guru Maharaj. Pratishtara tare nirjanera ghare tava harinama kevala. This is simply cheating. He did not approve this kind of business. He did not approve. He wanted to see everyone is engaged in preaching work, some sort of preaching work, either indoor or outdoor. When you are indoor, you have to be busy writing articles for a magazine on proofread, and so many things indoors. And outdoors, you have to go door to door, make them members, make them interested in this movement, collect money for expenses. Outdoor, preaching, you have to meet opposing elements. So many will criticize, so many will attack. Nityananda Prabhu was hurt personally, but still, outdoor. This is missionary work. Not that whenever I find some opportunity, I go to some solitary place and sleep. This is not missionary life. So, Prabhupada wants us to be busy. And that's the opposite of what he sees as lazy. He says that he said that this Krishna conscious movement is not meant to keep lazy people who cannot work. He said this, Krishna conscious does not mean to keep a set of men lazy who cannot work. That is not Krishna consciousness. Everyone must work to his capacity, prescribed duties. They accuse us we are escaping. Huh? What is that? We do not escape. We're always busy. So that's Prabhupada's, thing of laziness. We're busy. We're busy. We're busy with few things. He said. Let me look for this other quote that is very, very nice. Yeah. He says that So you all young men, I request you to engage your time in reading books, in chanting, in deity worship, in going to preach, selling books. Don't be lazy. Always remain engaged. That is Krishna consciousness. So, another thing that Prabhupada says, not being lazy, is to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, to understand Krishna through the Siddhanta. In other words, to read his books. So, the thing as devotees that we have to make sure that we don't fall prey or victim of the mode of ignorance and getting to settle ourselves comfortably. Meaning, yeah, you can sort of be in a very comfortable space, sleeping, eating, chanting Hare Krishna, and basically by chanting, making a little bit of a display of, oh, he's very nice, he's advanced. So that type of arrangement, we know that Prabhupada disliked very much. And he considered that as laziness. That's directly from him. So he wants to see his followers, and that's for us to understand. We have to minimize these activities, especially he likes that we sleep too much. And we find that, at different stages, we go through that sometimes, things with sleep. And keep ourselves busy. Studying his books, serving the deities, serving the devotees, and preaching. That's the life of a devotee. Busy. So I stop here. Any comment or questions? Jai Baladev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your class. You made a lot of nice points. Especially the subject matter in your class reminded me of a comment or a lecture my brother gave. He made one enlightening comment in regards to Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying in Amar Jivan, he says, I resist all pious deeds and I'm very active and enthusiastic to perform what you ask. So in this lecture when my brother was in London, he essentially said that when devotees come back from Harinam, from Buddhist tradition, they're super tired and they want to take a nap. And so he made the example that suppose someone walks in and tells this devotee who's coming from Harinam, Prabhu, there's really nice Hari Katha going on downstairs. Would you like to come? Prabhu, I'm tired. I just did tons of hours. And then he was like, okay. So then he left. Then he said, a few minutes, you could go back and tell this Prabhu, there's pizza and cheesecake downstairs, boom, boom, boom. Then they start running immediately. So that's kind of our situation, is that it's easy to follow basically the instruction of the spiritual master. One other example I like to use is that I'm sure we all relate to this about following the instructions of the guru. It's easy to follow the instructions when everything's good and going our way. I mentioned this point again. But when there's some conflict, when somebody makes us mad, immediately we go to the mode of ignorance and we want to destroy this person. Immediately Maya becomes our guru. So my question is that essentially is that we have no control essentially on how we respond to circumstances. And the direction I'm going, it's not really a question, maybe you can expand on these points. I'm kind of going back to where Prabhupada mentions in his first line of purport. He says for advancement in anything material, but especially in spiritual life, is that one has to follow the instructions of the guru. Now, in material life, you could get away with following the instructions of the teacher or your boss externally, and then you could talk crap about them behind their back. But spiritual life is much different because Krishna has 24-hour surveillance. So a lot of times, the direction I'm going is how we respond to circumstances, Krishna's mercy. And if we're not responding with with integrity externally in front of everyone and internally, then Krishna won't give us the enthusiasm to keep performing spiritual life. So that's kind of the direction I'm going. There's many examples, but maybe you could expand on some of these points.
Yeah. Let's see. It also had a quote from Srila Prabhupada that addresses that. Yeah, I lost it. But I remember reading a quote from Srila Prabhupada that the test is in our hand. And we can test ourselves if we are, still cheating a little bit, or we genuinely, getting a taste. And it's not to, bury us and say, it's black and white, either we're a failure or we're a success. But it means that we have work to do, like that. So we can test ourselves. It's like, women can test themselves if they're pregnant or not. There's a little device, and then they can take, they can tell that. So we can also have a means of testing ourselves. Prabhupada say the test is if Mongol Arctic, you wake up from Mongol Arctic and then goes, Mongol Arctic, and then you're all enthusiastic. I'm paraphrasing, but this is Prabhupada. I read it when I was doing this. Then he says, if you're not enthusiastic, then means that something you have to still work. You're still maintaining certain things, unwanted things. He says that the standard is, he quoted the verse of Yamunacharya, the famous verse that he likes to quote about that, curling your lips and spitting, when you have thoughts of sex. But previous to that, he says, the first two lines of that verse, Yamunacharya says that since I'm being engaged in the service of Lord Krishna, I'm finding myself new enthusiasm in doing, like every time, I feel even more enthusiastic as I've served, like that. So he cannot take, it's like, I want more. It's new, it's a new experience like that. So that's a symptom that, we are advancing. And so how enthusiastically I engage in the activities of devotional service, and you can, you want more and more and more. It happens like that with people who are attached, who are, like sometimes, cheesecake, you're a fan of cheesecake. And then you go, and then the other day you guys went into dosha eating. So, yeah, so it was, a dosha galore. So it was one after the other. I mean, some guys, they ate 15 doshas. So, you have one, the next one, and the next one. You fill up. Oh, what is the next one? Okay, I take it, and then, there's a new one, and like that. So you keep, you keep going. The experience doesn't go, doesn't get less, until one point, I guess, the guys, the guys were asking for mercy, to Sri Gauranga Prabhu, please be merciful to us. Eat one more. But nevertheless, the point is that we can get away with cheating, either in the material world and the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, Krishna is very kind. In the spiritual process, Krishna is very kind. He just, he goes for some time just giving you, opportunities. Hey, you're doing this wrong. Don't stop cheating. Look, this is what you do, and you become conscious. I'm cheating. Try to change. Go for it. Instructions. Krishna gives you this. And then if you're so thick that you can't help yourself, then Krishna goes for the, a little heavy, and then you get exposed. Now, you have to, then others start to, not, it becomes an exposed thing. You get caught, with the hands, in the cookie jar. Okay, now I have to, so you're forced to change. In the material world also, people think you go cheating, and eventually it's going to be exposed too. And then, you end losing all your reputations, etc., everything. So there's no escape of cheating, when you have to be honest. Cheating is a demoniac tendency that is not good. It's 8:25, so unless someone has, okay, Prabhu, we take one more question. That's it. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, can you read that you said Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said something like Prane Ache Jar. What is that line? I can't catch.
The verse that he quoted?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the verse, but it's Bengali. He's Vaishnava ke? Yeah. He says, Pratishtara tare nirjanera ghare tava hare nama kevala. Before that? Oh, okay. Let me see. No, this other one. The other one, that he says is Pritiviti Ache Jata Nagaradi, which is, if you're Indian, that famous verse. If you have taken birth and that you should teach others this science of Bhagavad Gita, Before that. Oh. Prana Ache Jara said Hetu Prachar. Prana Ache Jara say Hetu Prachar. I don't know, it doesn't say the translation. Prana means life, that much I know. Prachar means action, but I don't know. Is that right? Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.